Hi, today we are going to talk about this reel-to-reel machine. It's Akai GX-266D. It has 6 heads and it's capable of both a recording and playing. Let's take a closer look to this machine. Here are some nice VU meters. If I switch on the machine, the light comes on. I had to change the bulbs because they were, not working. And here are our, pots for recording. It's line and microphone input. There are our inputs. There is the main head. There are two sections. There is erase head, recording head, and here is the playing head. And it's, the same here. It's playing head, recording head, and erase head. So, if I touch any of these buttons, it will start to operate immediately, as you can see. It's really fast, the machine. It operates very well now. So let's take a look into the schematics and talk about the problems we had. So here is our schematics. This is the main power section and control section. On the other page there is an audio section with heads and the other stuff that's for recording and playing. So the first problem was in the power. So there is our rectifier and the problem was at the stabilizer part here. These two transistors were broken. Unfortunately, they were not shorted, they were open. So I just had to, buy the same transistor of the same ratings, not the same transistor, but with the same ratings, a bit higher IC current, and that was it. Finally, the LED went on and it started to react on forwarding and rewinding, but it didn't start playing. There was another problem with the center motor. The center motor is here, and first of all I thought it might be those capacitors, but the capacitor is okay, and there was other problem. It was this transistor which drive the motor based on the current which flows through the transistor. It's quite interesting, this circuit. The control voltage comes from here, from this transistor TR14. So there is 0.6 volts and it goes on the base of this transistor, and as the currents flows through the transistor, you can see basically it really flows just to the ground. And because the current flows through this transistor, the current is also flowing from the transformer, from the winding, through the winding, and through the motor windings, as you can see. So when the current flows, the motor runs, and it depends on the amount of the current, how fast the motor runs. So basically this transistor is getting very hot, whether it's playing or not. It's all the time. I measured about 50 to 60 degrees Celsius. And I use the thermopaste and everything, but it's still very hot, and I think it should be very hot. But this wasn't the last problem. It finally started to work. I could play the tape, but only in one direction. The problem was also very easy. The head of the playing backwards was very, very dirty. So I cleaned it up and it started to work again. So I was very happy, but I noticed that the levels of the output aren't, good as they should be. And the recording was also very bad. And it started to misbehave in the following days. So I ended up with, disassembling the whole machine. It was really hard, lots of screws and everything. And I changed all electrolytic capacitors, the new one, and where it was possible in the audio section, I used foil capacitors. Yeah, and it fixed a lot of problems, but I noticed that the heads aren't aligned correctly. So I needed to buy the calibration tape, and I used it. It took me a few hours to, set the alignment correctly on the oscilloscope. But finally, I managed to do it, and it plays really well. There were other problems. There are, the solenoid switches, which moves, the solenoid moves the switch, and those switches were also dirty inside, so I had to clean them from inside, like every switch and potentiometers. So basically it was it, but it was lots of work and lots of setting to, the machine work properly. And there was also the last problem that was really, really annoying. When I thought the machine is done and I started to closing the machine, the next day it ran really, really fast. I mean, it sounded like Smurfs or chipmunks. It took me a whole day debugging this circuit. None of these transistors was broken. Either this transistor. The problem was really easy again, but really annoying. This wire, which goes, this wire, which goes from the coil that is in the center motor. It's sinusoid, which has about 5 volts peak to peak, and it drives this circuit. It's almost like a feedback, and it tells the circuit how fast is the motor running. And there was in this place code joint. The wire was there. It was, it was holding there, no problems. But it didn't conduct. I resoldered the joint by accident, and it started to work like a magic. And since then, there are no problems. It records and plays really nice. Now, let's take a look into my measurements of total harmonic distortion. This is 1 kHz played from the calibration tape. As you can see, the THD is really low, and it looks that the machine plays nice, Let's take a look into 10 kHz. Oh, sorry, it's 3 kHz now. Again, the distortion is quite higher now, but 5 kHz and 10 kHz. It's quite interesting that the distortion is lower on 10 kHz. But overall, if you look to the sound to noise ratio, it's really nice. There is 50 Hertz coming from the mains, and it's only about, I don't know, -7.5 decibels. This is recording, and the THD, you know, as I told, is really low, but it was recorded on, you know, many times used tape. So, and this is the last measurement. If you have any questions, just contact me through the comment section. I hope you liked this video, and this is goodbye from me. Bye!